tonight on the local game, we'll take a look at the weekend's results and see if Corporate Jets are the true winners after the results from the weekend. 300 games is a massive achievement as we catch up with Ben Dale after coaching his 300th Federation game, and we find out in Keko's inbox how a State League 2 game almost didn't go ahead. Welcome to the local game for another week of the show. I'm Johnny Keko, your host today, and it's great to be back with you, and also it's great to be back with my special co-host. He's a voice that just soothes the soul. That is David Grant. Good to have you back.
Oh, it's good to be back. Thanks very much for having me, Johnny.
You're the king of local football with a Scottish accent, but you're also wearing a Queen's Park shirt today. Tell us a little bit about the reasoning behind the shirt.
Well, this is my local team. They played just near where I grew up. And
in Scotland?
Yes, in Glasgow, in the south side of Glasgow. And they've just had some success. The men have secured championship status with the last game of the season. And the women's team have just won Premier 2, which is the Scottish second division, if you like. So a very big week for Queen's Park.
Huge week. Well, we're talking local football here. There's your local football over in Scotland. But also there's some Australian fans that have been spotted here in South Australia.
That's right. I've been surprised at the number of Queen's Park fans there are in South Australia. As you can see, there's quite a few of them from the photographs I've seen around Adelaide this
Press
week.
for time, Antonius Pagonis.
Yes.
And also, there's me as well. I've been seen in that shirt. And Seb O'Neill, another commentator, but I don't know if he's kissing the badge or sniffing his armpits.
Sniffing the armpits, I'm not sure.
But there's some Australian fans of Queen's Park here in South Australia.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to see them out there.
We'll have to try and get us over there to go support a game, or maybe get them here to play against Adelaide United, or
That'd be amazing, yeah.
against All Stars NPL team,
Yeah.
maybe. Who knows? Get that happening, David. But anyway, let's head into our hot topics and talking about local. Charlie Grant, a local South Australian, featuring in the Women's FA Cup final. Unfortunately, on the losing side, 4-0 loss for Tottenham Hotspurs against Manchester United, but in front of 76,000+ people at Wembley Stadium. Massive turnout.
Oh, yeah, and amazing for her. You know, she might have only played 20 minutes, come on as a late substitute, and the game is, probably gone by that point in time. But what an experience for her to come on for that period. Yeah,
massive game to be a part of. But hopefully, it's only their first, but hopefully they can get back into the FA Cup again next year and get one further, especially for Charlie Grant's sake, because we love South Australians on an international stage. But yeah, congrats to her for making that appearance. It would be a massive tick in of highlights for her career so far. But, let's head into topic number 2. Someone that was a massive footballer that played in South Australia. You got a book on him, George Best.
Yes, I've been asked to have a wee look at this new book by an author named Lucas Gillard, who is based in Melbourne. It's the story of George Best's time in Australia, Down Under it's called. And for us locally here, it covers 3 games that he played in South Australia. The first was on the 24th of June 1967 at Kensington Oval for a visiting Manchester United team. They won 5-1 against the South Australian state side. Neil O'Russellin played in that match, someone I met at the 2023 Celebration of Football Awards night. Best came back on the 20th of July 1983, played at Hindmarsh for West Adelaide against Adelaide City in a 5-3 game, and he scored in that game. So George Best scored at Hindmarsh, there you go. And on the 23rd of July 1989, he played in a charity match, George Best 11 at Ramsey Park, home of Playford now. It was a 6-6 game, and he scored in that one as well.
So a big player to come to South Australia and play here, but it's great to have now a book to be able to read and relive that history.
Absolutely. And he was here with a big Manchester United team as well, with Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law, a very young Brian Kidd, and it was the season that they went on to win the European Cup as well. So it would have been amazing to have seen them at the time.
Well, great read. Make sure you can read that book if you can get your hands on it, and also see your article that's coming out very soon on a review on it for Front Page Football.
That's right. I'm going to write a wee piece for them. So
now we'll move into topic number 3. Unfortunately, it's a bit a tragedy happening in Brazil, with floodings currently happening over there, which affects some of our community here in South Australian football, with players from Brasfort and also players in our WNPL, including Ali Atkins, whose partner is from this region over in Brazil. Currently flooded. They've lost, houses have been lost, lives have been lost. It's a very tragic moment over there at the moment. But there are things being done here in South Australia which we can get behind the community and our fellow Brazilians here in South Australia. And that also includes Ali Atkins, a current co-host who's playing her part in helping Brazil at the moment with this video that she put out last week.
Tonight I'll be dedicating my soccer game to Rio Grande do Sul. They are the most southern state in Brazil who have just experienced an absolute tragedy in extreme flooding that has covered majority of the cities. I planned on just doing this week, but I have since decided I will be donating the rest of my wage from soccer to Rio Grande do Sul and getting through this tragedy and the floods and really doing whatever I can to help them. Hopefully we can get through this together.
That's a great initiative from Ali. Our thoughts going out to everyone in Brazil. And also there's a couple of events coming up on the 26th of May. There's going to be a Brazilian festival as well, a massive event, to a community event to raise money. There'll be Brazilian food and also other things happening on that day. So get behind it. The 26th of May is that event. Our thoughts go out to everyone in Brazil at the moment.
Yes, very, very sad that, and it's what a generous offer by Ali to donate her earnings like that. So
absolutely. Well, now we're going to head into the round 10 results from the weekend of the RA NPL SA. That is, let's check out some of those results. Now, 4 draws this weekend, almost reminiscent of round 8, which also had 4 draws. It just really shows how tight this league is at the moment.
Yeah, really tight competition and late goals as well in the games.
Yeah.
I was down at South Adelaide on Friday night watching the Adelaide Olympic play down there. A goal in the 90th minute or the 88th minute from captain James Polly was enough to win that. Felt a lot for South Adelaide. You know, they'd worked really hard to try and get something out of the game, and it just wasn't their night, sort of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, that result there for Adelaide Olympic. There's that late winner playing on the screens now, but it really shows how much they've come, how far they've come in the last few weeks as well. Now they're 5 undefeated. They're looking like a little bit of a force at the moment, but could you say they're the underdogs that are just starting to rise up a bit?
I think it's taken them a wee while to get started, hasn't it? I mean, they really had a faltering beginning of the season, and now, as you say, they've had a couple of wins and a couple of draws in their last few matches, and suddenly things seem to be turning for them.
Definitely so. And, that goal they just played, we're going to play it again, but let's put the volume up this time. Have a listen to this.
A little bit tense out there too. There's Toriana with the ball into the middle. Kamara with his back to goal. Feeds it to Polly, who shoots, and it's a goal on the edge of the box with about 5 minutes to go, and that could be it. Lovely feedback from Kamara.
Well, if you couldn't hear and tell, that was your voice. You were commentating your first League Comms game, was that one? And what an ending for yourself.
Yeah,
I think I was very good.
Absolutely. I was on with Ben Dale and I was quite beside myself.
Because you're with Ben Dale or because...
Well, a bit of both. A bit of both.
But congratulations on your debut as League Comms. How'd you find it?
Oh, look, I find it quite easy to slip into. I've been doing this sort of stuff for 5 years, not as a lead, but obviously around the kind of leads and doing a bit of media work, so it was quite easy for me.
Well done. Congratulations on that. It's great to have another League Comms on board. But also talking about the result as well, it was great for Adelaide Olympic. Unfortunate for South Adelaide, but another win from this weekend is Modbury Jets, the only other team to win this weekend. But overall, they were probably the biggest winners in regards to the ladder. Now they're sitting comfortably on top with a 3-point gap. They must be over the moon now with that result.
Absolutely, and another late goal from Hamish McCabe. I think he scored in the 90th minute or thereabouts, and a massive result for them. Puts a little bit of daylight between them and second now, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Metro sitting 3 points behind. They'll be kicking themselves now to be that they have that gap. But so that's starting to really separate between third and first now. So it's starting to get that gap at the top with Modbury Jets. They just really come out firing again, Modbury Jets, this year after last year.
Yeah, they seem to have, yeah.
And you look down the bottom of the ladder as well. FK Belgrade, that late equaliser from Adelaide United have kicked them back down to 9. They were sitting at 6th place up until the 90th minute mark that day. But unfortunately, for them, Luka Jovanovic managed to get the late equaliser and kept their 6th place for Adelaide United.
Yeah, I mean, there was 3 games with late equalisers, and that Luka Jovanovic goal in the very last kick of the ball pretty much it was enough to get them the 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an exciting time in the RA NPL SA round 10 action. Well, it's almost at the halfway mark. We'll talk about the upcoming fixtures later in the show. Don't go anywhere. You stay here.
I'm not going anywhere, Johnny.
Good. Well, after the break, we'll talk about the state leagues. Don't go anywhere. It's still a local game. Welcome back to the local game. Hope you enjoyed your short break, but it's time to head back into the state leagues. There's no break in football because the state leagues, well, West Adelaide have ended their losing streak. It's come to an end, but it's come at the cost of Vipers FC, who were on a 3-game winning streak. That's come to an end now, but a big game there for West Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely, and a big turnaround of events. I don't think I picked that one in the tipping comp at the beginning of the week. No.
Oh, no, but I don't think anyone would have expected it, but it's a massive thing for West Adelaide, for their confidence especially, to be able to get a win back, because it wasn't looking too great for them only a few weeks ago now, or even last week. But to get this 3 points is great for their confidence.
Absolutely. They're a hard team to pick. So, yeah, good for their confidence, and it'll be interesting to see how they go next week when they continue on from that.
Yeah, especially not being at their home ground either yet. At this point, I was expected to be playing from Kilburn, which has been a long time coming, but I don't know when that's going to happen. There's still rumours that it might be happening very soon, but I think that's the missing link as well. Not having a secure home is very, very much hurting him, but this 3 points is very important. And also another game is the late equaliser from Salisbury United. Massive equaliser there against Playford City, which now puts them second. Sorry.
Yeah, so Captain Matt Taylor scored the equaliser for Salisbury in the 95th minute. And that slip up by Playford dropping points has seen them drop down behind Adelaide Eagles by another 2 points or so. So, yeah, big change at the top. Significant.
Big change at the top, but nothing's changed at the top for State League 2 as we head into that league now on the weekend. Nothing surprises us with another win for Adelaide Uni. They are on fire at the moment, sitting comfortably on top of the ladder, but they're really breaking away from the pack now with that 3-0 win over Adelaide Hills Hawks.
Yeah, I went along to see them. Look, I have to say that I wasn't blown away by them. They certainly won the game comfortably, but I was expecting them to be far superior than they were. But Hugo Remington, he scored a brace for Adelaide Uni, and they look like a side that now have got enough of a gap between themselves and second that they'll possibly just run away with.
Yeah,
this.
8-point gap between them and Pontian Eagles, who, well, for goal difference wise, a 9-1 win against Mount Barker United is going to be doing them very big justice later in the league, later in the season. Sorry, big win there for Pontian Eagles.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting times. I think LA Uni have pretty much on track to take out the league.
Yeah, it's looking that way. And among the scorers for Pontian Eagles, I was just going to point out, Kashindi, the top scorer in that division, got a hat-trick. So he's on fire.
Definitely. So, well, let's head into the Women's State League at the moment. Just check out those results from the weekend as well. A big win for Elizabeth Grove against Croydon FC. It's very unfortunate. I think a lot of people are across the situation there. It's disappointing for Croydon. It's not a great season for them, but hopefully it can be resolved soon, because we don't love seeing this for any side. But also, let's look at Campbelltown City, an 8-0 win for them. Their season's on track to finish top. I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. That's what they've shown so far in these early rounds, in the first 8 rounds. First 7 rounds. But South Adelaide, a 2-1 win against Cove in Ben Dale's 300th game as a coach.
Ben Dale, my new best friend. So yes, Ben Dale and I did the game on Friday night. We're talking about that, and so I kept my eye open for that result, because there's a bit of a derby for them, South Adelaide versus Cove.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was his 300th game.
Yeah, the Southern Derby. Well, it was great to hear you commentate with him. Great to him to get the win. But now it's also great for me to head out and chat with Ben Dale after his 300th game to find out what it was like just for him. Here's my chat with Ben Dow. I'm down here at South Adelaide Panthers home ground with the head coach of the WSL side, Ben Dow. Mate, thank you for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Johnny.
It's congratulations on the weekend, your 300th game as a coach for an FSA leagues. How was the game? You got the win against Cove, but how was it on a personal note to notch up your 300th game?
Yeah, look, it was it was obviously a great milestone. I think for me, when I've been coaching, never thought about getting to 300 games. It wasn't about that. So I was quite overwhelmed on the day with all the attention around it and stuff like that. I'd like to think, normally just prepare for a normal game. It was an important game, a Southern Derby. So for me, that was where my focus was. It was fantastic to get around it and celebrate it.
It's been a few years since you coached in a FSA league that's to get up to your 300th. But what was the break like? Because last time was a few years back. What's it like to be able to coach at this level again?
Look, it's been great. It wasn't on the agenda, to be honest. My last FSA State League coaching gig was at Morby Vista in 2021, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I've been coaching the girls through the juniors over a number of years since then. Helped out Dan Milovanovic last year with the first team and the reserves down here. And this year, obviously he's gone to Comets now, so the club asked me to take over the role, which wasn't part of the plan originally, but did that. And look, it was a bit of an interesting transition in after Dan having been here for so long. But I think things are going relatively well now, which is good. So yeah.
Well, how are you feeling with the side this year? It's your first time coaching the WSL side, but you got the win against Cove on the weekend. But how are you finding the first few games of the season?
Look, it's been tough. It's been challenging, and there's so many different styles of football being played in the state league, and you've got teams who obviously want to get promoted, and you've Vistas, Campbelltowns, Groves, even Jags wanting to sort of get to the WNPL, which is where it's all at for women's football for us. And then you've got teams that are relatively new to the league, and they're still finding their feet. So some of the results have been quite indifferent. So to get your team to perform consistently week in, week out, regardless, has been a challenge. But yeah, no, look, I've really enjoyed it, and like I say, I've coached the girls for a long time. Some of the girls I've coached since they were 8, 9, 10 years older in that senior team as well. So I've got an existing relationship with them. But yeah, no, it's look, the league's good. We've only lost one game this year, which was to Campbelltown, who haven't lost yet. So nothing to be ashamed of there. But we've got to just keep trying to get better every week.
We've seen coaches that have gone from men's football to women's football, like with Jason Trimboli, he's at LA Uni in the WNPL. Yourself, you've come from men's football. What's the transition been like as a coach, and what are some of the things that you've had to adjust to be able to coach in women's football?
Well, I think it's like anything, whether it's juniors, men's, women's, you've got to really be flexible with your management style and your communication style. Obviously, there's things I would have done with senior men's that I wouldn't do with under 11 girls, and how you still want to try to get that message across and be a coach, but also be a manager, be a leader, be able to pick people up when things aren't going well, at school or at home, and all those different things. So that if you can't do that and you can't communicate effectively, I don't think it matters how good your football brain is, because I really feel it's a recipe for disaster, as sad as it is, and we don't get taught that in coaching courses. We get taught football. So to be able to manage players and communicate effectively is something that we've got to continuously work on. So yeah, the transition is different. It's tough. And I know Frank Tabaldi, I saw him the other week at Sturt, and I think they've struggled a little bit too. Not in a negative way, but it's just you've got to tweak things, and you hope that the audience receives it in the right way, and that you can help develop them and help play good football, and then to be successful as well on the pitch.
And then we'll talk about a little bit away from football as well, or actually not away from football, away from coaching, but still in football. You also commentate as well. You're you're a co-commentator. You've been doing it for the last couple of years, or actually a lot longer, but with us for the last couple of years. And on the weekend, you were part of David Grant's debut as a league com. Yes. What was that like to be able to still be a part of football in a different capacity?
Oh, look, I thoroughly enjoy it, especially as the co-commentator, because there's not as much pressure. And Johnny, you do a great job. As the lead comms, it's hard because there's so much to think about. You want to try to make sure you engage the audience visually and audio, from an audio perspective. So David, I thought, did really well. I mean, I think he was a bit nervous leading up to it, but he's got a good personality, and he's got a good sense of humour. He knows the game, and I think think, they're really important ingredients to be able to engage the audience. So I bounced off of him quite well. We had a bit of banter. And to be able to talk football while the game's being played as well was really important. I think having that voice, and you watch the games without the commentating, it's nice to watch and it's a great service that the FSA provides. But I think having that voice in the background just adds that little bit extra to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and David's he's a great character, and that's why he's on the show this week as well with me. So, but thank you for joining me, and congrats on the 300 game, and hopefully we can get you to another 300 in the next few years.
I was halfway through the game, I was thinking, I don't know if I'll get to 301, to be honest, but we got the results, and so, yeah, I look forward to the next challenge. So thanks, Johnny.
Well, congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
Well, that's my chat with Ben Dow. On the other side of the break, we'll wrap up the show. Don't go anywhere. It's the local game. Welcome back to the local game. Well, we are getting to the ending of the show. Keko's inbox is back. It's full. There's a couple there this week as well. But before we get into that, the WNPL on the weekend. Some great results. Let's check out those results. Well, there's some interesting ones there. Metro United get the win over Sturt. By this point, Sturt would definitely have wanted a win. They've got 3 points from one game, obviously, but they still haven't been able to get an actual win just yet.
Yeah, look, I think this was do or die weekend for Sturt. I think this is a game they had to win if they wanted to keep in touch, and the fact that they've lost is possibly this beginning of the end of their season.
Unfortunately, so that you might be on track to that. But I don't think with the amount of changes they had going into the season, new coach, a lot of new players, it's going to be a very hard year to try and establish themselves in the WNPL, plus trying to readjust as well. So we'll see. It's still a long way to go, but the early signs aren't looking good for them. But also another game on the weekend, West Adelaide, a win over Adelaide Uni, which also saw 3 A-League women's players rejoining the league. We're starting to see a few of them join the Go Sunny Solar WNPL on the back of the end of the Liberty A-League. It also include 3 in this fixture, Mallory Mullen, Emily Hodgson for West Adelaide, both of those two coming from Adelaide United, and also Brisbane Roar player Jenna McCormick returning back to LA Uni. It's 3 big inclusions.
Absolutely, yeah. Jenna McCormick's a player that's been around for a while now. I think my kids have actually got her autograph.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from a day that they did at Stirling District Soccer Club in the Hills a long time ago.
Lovely lady. I met with her last year. We had an interview for my podcast, Kicking It Local, when she spoke about commentating the Women's World Cup, which was a very well done job by her during that period for SEN. So she's great great asset, and also Mallory Mullen and Emily Hodgson, 2 other great players. It's good to see 3 great A-League women's players in that one fixture for their first game.
Absolutely. I might get to try and go out and see them this weekend.
Absolutely. We'll just have a quick look at that ladder as well. West Adelaide comfortably top at the moment. It is a fantastic season so far for them.
Chantel Ryder can't stop scoring for Salisbury Inter, can she?
No, she can't. They've still got. There's still a little bit of a way from last year. Haven't been able to kickstart the league as well as they wanted, but they're starting to get back into their ways.
Yeah, I think they turned it around at a game I was at. I think with Seb a few weeks ago against Adelaide Uni. Salisbury Inter won that game, and they just seem to have turned things around a little bit since then. So turned a corner and starting to look a bit more like a side that might make that final series.
Well, let's take a quick look at the fixtures for this weekend of the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. Salisbury Inter, Metro United playing this weekend. It's going to be a big fixture there, but it's going to be a hard one for Sturt Lions. They're taking on West Adelaide.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's bottom against top, is it?
Yep, a huge one there. And then it's Adelaide City. I've had a tough few games, but they have to try and turn it around this weekend against Adelaide Comets, which is going to be a huge ask for them.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, sorry.
And then we'll have a look at the fixtures this weekend for the area NPL SA as well. As we head into round 11, the halfway mark is very, very close. 2 Friday night games. Jets versus Campbelltown City. I'll be commentating on that match with, possibly Antonis Pagonis, which was actually a fun fact. His very first game he commentated was Campbelltown City against Modbury Jets at Modbury's home ground.
The stars have aligned.
I think the Olympic LA City one will be very interesting because can you see LA Olympic continue their ways, or will this be the opportunity for Adelaide City to get back in it?
So for me, Adelaide Olympic are in a little bit of a roll, and Adelaide City aren't going in the right direction. So I would anticipate that Adelaide Olympic might get the win there.
We'll see how that goes. Keep your eyes on that this weekend. That's all the action. Make sure you head down to those games. But, Keko's inbox been lighting up. Well, let's head to that now. Let's open it up. Well, we had a few sent in this week for Keko's inbox. Well, here's a couple I chose for tonight's episode. This shot was a little bit close, almost on target. The referee had to duck for cover. Look at this shot. How close is that?
Just had to get his head out the way, didn't he?
Very close spot there. So got to keep an eye out on the ball when you're at a game, and especially the referee. Looks like he was actually targeting him, doesn't it?
Well, that's what the evidence might suggest.
But, I can talk from experience as well on the weekend. I became a ball boy because the ball almost hit me a few times. So I had one holding onto one for protection, so I can punch the other one away, and the other one also to throw back into the ground. I end up being a ball boy. I think I had 3 or 4 touches in about 60 seconds, more than some players on the park. And then second, Keko's inbox was also this one sent in. The Eastern United broadcast. If you look closely, you can see the referees as well wearing different colours. Centre referee wearing blue, the official on the line also wearing blue, but the one on the far side, he's wearing yellow because he was called in last minute. Apparently, an official in the prior game was injured and was unable to officiate this game. So they needed a last minute ring in. There was only one person in the whole town of Port Pirie that was able to officiate that had the qualifications. They couldn't get in touch with him for a little while, but they finally managed to get in touch with him and raced him down there, and he's managed to get the game going.
Yeah, good on him. Dragged him out the pub. No, I'm only kidding. So, no, good on him. He saved the game there, because if he hadn't been able to do that, the game would probably have been called off, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, and everyone would have to come back. And knowing how far Port Pirie is, it's hard to ring someone in the last minute, but thankfully there was one person there. I'm sure after this they're going to be registering a few others to make sure this doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
But well done to them for getting that sorted on the weekend. Some games happened on the week or during the week with the Australia Cup. The final 2 teams. Well, let's head to Press for Time, where Antonis Pagonis has got all the coverage for you.
Johnny, our semi-finalists for the Cup are confirmed, and joining Modbury and Campbelltown City, we've got Adelaide Comets, who had a strong second half against FK Beargrad and a wonder goal from Nico Economopoulos to send them through to that semi-final. And Wednesday night, we had Adelaide Olympic with a strong win over Northern Demons, the last State League side remaining in the competition. A fantastic journey for them, but now we've got 4. Modbury Jets, Campbelltown City, Adelaide Olympic, and of course the Adelaide Comets. Only 2 can go to the final in the round of 32. Let's see who it is. I'm looking forward to the draw.
Well, that means the semi-finals are only a couple of weeks away. Keep your eye out on Football SA's pages to find out who will be playing each other. Can't wait to get to those games. But that's it for the show for this week. David, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Johnny. It was an absolute pleasure.
Oh, absolutely loved it. Keep the Queen's Park colours going.
QP.
Yep, QP. Or QP mayonnaise. I don't know which one you're going for. But anyway, have a great week. Have a great weekend, mate.
You too, Johnny. I'll see you around.
Definitely. See you around. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all again next week for the local game.